Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you've had a super fantastic, sparkling day. Today it is, well, first of all, welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast, day number 1180, and it's all about taking time for you. So we're taking a break from Family History Month for tonight because we're just going to talk about self-care. And why it's important to take those breaks. We had back on October the 10th, which was 2 weeks ago. Trying to remember how many days ago. So that would have been 81 minus 14, 7, 1, 4, no. Yeah. Math's not working. Brain's not working on math right now. Sorry, I just had a couple of Supermint beadlets before. And they just burst. Oh, love that. When you have the peppermint beadlets, these ones are Supermint. They've got spearmint and peppermint, and I can't read it enough to see what else is in there, but when it bursts and you just do that, and you get this big clearing through your sinuses, your brain wakes up. It's fantastic. Anyway, part of self-care. So, and it freshens the breath as well. So we talked about taking breaks back on the call that we had when Vanessa Hunter was on as our guest that evening. And I'm trying to remember which call number it was. But, we talked about the importance of taking a break. So I thought, it's probably about time that we revisited that one. And I'm just seeing quickly if I can see where it was. It was October 10th. Oh, they date these for me. So I was back on call 1166. So if you want to go back and see that one, it was 1166 when we had Vanessa Hunter on and we talked about the importance of self-care and taking breaks. And so today kind of was that way. I had a list of things to do this weekend and I really kind of took the weekend off. I did do a little bit of work that I had to do and got that taken care of. But then I just sort of thought, we're just going to take time for us. And we went for a drive yesterday we got Chick-fil-A for breakfast. The only reason we didn't do that on Sunday was because they're closed on Sundays. Sunday, we normally go out for breakfast and do a drive-through and go and park somewhere and eat it. But of course, Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays, so we had to do it on a Saturday. And then we came back here. We did a little bit of work. We just had a really nice, relaxing day yesterday. And I actually left the phone out here and just went into the bedroom and laid down on the bed and took a nap. I have no idea what time it was when I went and laid down, no idea what time it was when I got up, and just went on throughout the day. And then today, we got up, we went for did our morning routine, went for our walk, came back, and I was like, what should we do today? And I remembered something about some session of some sort being on. But the book I'm listening to right now, I have if you have a subscription with the Hayes House, they have a really cool app, and you go into the app and basically you can read anything in there for free. So I'm listening to F the Shoulds and Do the Wants by Tricia Huffman. It is a really cool book. I have to say, I'm up to chapter 10, which is about halfway through the book. It's got 20 chapters. And I'm really enjoying it. And it's all about, instead of saying, I should do this, I should do that, turning it into, I want to do this, I want to do that. And the chapter I was just listening to, chapter 9, was all about, what about if you get those tasks like, do you really want to say, I want to do the dishes? And so then she says, like, okay, we reverse engineer that. If the dishes were done, how would that make you feel? And you said, like, well, I feel a lot better. The kitchen would be clean. The counters would be clear of clutter. And in an RV, I have a very small counter space. I don't even know how much counter space I actually have. That's probably about 18 inches there. And then on top of the cooktop, which is about 24 inches, that's my counter space. I do have a leaf that pops up, but I keep forgetting about it, except when I talk about it. And that's my counter space. And so if it's got dirty dishes sitting on there, then I have nowhere to prepare the food. for meals or anything else, and no way to cook anything because I can't access the air fryer. And the air fryer takes up a little bit of that counter space on top of the cooktop. And I've got the George Foreman grill there as well. And so those appliances take up the top of my cooktop. So I really only have the 18 inches by, I guess it's 24 inches deep as a counter space next to the sinks. And then there's a little piece that runs across the front of the sink where you can balance it, it fits the width of this glass. And then you got the leaf at the end that you can pop up if need be. And so I was looking at that going, okay, so I want to have a clean kitchen so it's easier to prepare meals in it and easy access, to my cooking appliance, my air fryer and my grill. And I can't do that if I have it piled high with dirty dishes. So then it's sort of like, I want to have that feeling of a clean kitchen. The way I'm going to get to have a clean kitchen is to wash the dishes. So you kind of reverse engineer the thing. And so I thought, well, that's an interesting way to look at things. Like, what's the benefit of having clean laundry? Well, you'll have clean clothes to wear, and you always feel good when you have clean clothes to wear. So I'm sort of like, okay, I want to have clean clothes. I have to go do the laundry. So got all the laundry all sorted into different bags. So when I get to the laundry, I don't have to do any sorting. It's just open the machine and dump the contents of the bag into the machine. So that's all. The sorting got all done today. Had plans of going over there. It didn't quite work out that way, and that's okay. We still have clean clothes to wear tomorrow. After that, it might be a bit of a question mark. But, so looking at those sorts of things, how do you get the housework done? Well, I like having a clean space. I like it when it's not dusty because my sinuses feel a lot better if they don't get clogged up with dirt. I want to have clean sinuses, clear sinuses. So I'm going to go and dust. I want to dust so I can have clear sinuses. So you start rewording things put into I want to, and then you can make it fun. She says by putting on music or listening to an audiobook or whatever it is that you need to do to make it a fun game to do. And I'm like, I can do that. So it was interesting listening to that. And I was listening to that while I was out walking Zephyr this morning. We ended up doing this extra long walk this morning. It was awesome. I just basically let Zephyr lead wherever she wanted to go. And we ended up like doing the whole perimeter of the pet area, a couple of the cross streets up and down. We had a nice long walk this morning. It was awesome. We walked over a mile, which was, I think we walked over a mile. Did we walk over a mile? Pretty sure we walked over a mile. Hang on a moment, please. And I can tell you that information because I carry my phone with me. Oh no, my phone says we only walked 3/4 of a mile. No, it felt longer. Probably because her stopping and starting with the smells and meeting the other dogs that were out walking as well. It felt longer. But I could have kept walking, but she started heading home and I was hungry. And so when I sat down at the desk, I thought, I'll just play cards while I eat. And it happened to open up and my email page was showing. And it says, we're starting this in an hour. I thought, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So I have a subscription to a website called Mindvalley. And they put on these free seminars every now and again. And this one was done with a hypnotist. And it was very interesting listening to his theory on different things like he kept calling it weight loss. And I'm like, he needs to call it weight release. He needs to change the language on that one. Critiquing them as they go along. But it was very interesting because he was saying, okay, I want somebody who's totally addicted to chocolate. And I'm sitting there going, I am not volunteering for this one. I am a chocoholic. I actually have a chocolate drawer. I don't think I've ever told anybody this. I have a chocolate drawer in my refrigerator. When it gets to half full, we go buy more chocolate because we never want to run out of chocolate. The one time I did run out of chocolate, I called Brad because he was out and about in the car. And I said to him, I have an emergency. He goes, what's the emergency? And he goes on alert. It's like, what's up? What's wrong? What's wrong? I'm out of chocolate. And he starts laughing. I'm like, this is serious. I am out of chocolate. I says, I can't be out of chocolate. And he says, well, go buy some more. And I'm sort of like, but then I've got to get in the car and go to the market and I'll end up buying all this other stuff that we really don't need. And he's sort of like, well, it's either that or you go without chocolate. And I'm like, damn it. You can't pick me up some? Actually, I think he was actually on his way to LA or something at the time. He was heading up to spend some time with his mom. And I wanted him to turn around and bring me some chocolate. But so we avoided the chocolate crisis. But the fact that he laughed, I'm sort of like, how rude. So I now have a chocolate drawer, and it's a good sized chocolate drawer, and it has a lot of chocolate in it. And and everything's over like about 70% cacao and above is what's in there. I do have a 90% cacao chocolate bar in there, and I'll talk about bitter, but there's ways you can get around that. Like you can chop it up finely and throw it into a smoothie and it's all fine. But this guy was wanting somebody who was addicted to chocolate, and I'm like, I am a huge chocoholic. I have a chocolate drawer, and then I find myself typing this into the chat, and thankfully they did not pick me. I have I'm a huge chocoholic. Anything with chocolate in, just about anything with chocolate in, I will eat. And I even have a chocolate drawer in my refrigerator. And thankfully, I did not get picked to be the volunteer for that. And but he had this woman there who was just south of Paris, and she gets on there and he says, "Okay, what's the most disgusting food that you?" And I'm like, I really don't want to listen to this. The most disgusting food you've ever had? And she goes, "I don't know the food version of it, but brains." I'm like, oh. And he goes, like monkey brains, something like that. And she's like, yeah. And I can remember it threw me back, way, way back to this book I read one time about this guy who somehow literally stumbled into being a drug smuggler. He was a flight steward and he was talking about being, I think it was Thailand he was in. And he was at this table meeting with these dealers and stuff where they were organizing for him to take the drugs. And this is way back in like the 70s or something, just smuggling the drugs into whatever country he was flying into and all that. And he was talking about this monkey head being through the thing, and they cut the monkey head open and the monkey's still alive. I'm like, wait, what? And describes this whole thing about eating brains. And I'm like, oh, that's disgusting. And I'm like, the poor monkey. All I could think of was the monkey and how disgusting it was that they treated them like that. But apparently it's a delicacy. I think it was Thailand. I can't remember. It was one of the Southeast Asian countries. And it might have been Taiwan. I don't remember. And so as soon as she said brains, I went straight back to that scene in the book that he described in detail. And I was sort of like, yeah, no. And so the guy, the hypnotist, starts to her and says, okay, he says, now what I want you to do, and he puts him to this relaxed state and starts describing what he wants her to do with eating chocolate and all of that. And I'm like, I can't listen to this. And but when he said that you eat the chocolate and you can taste the brains in there, I was sort of like, okay, that's not too bad. And he says, and then you find the hair in there. And I'm like, oh, that is just disgusting. And the way he was describing it, I was almost dry reaching. It was so bad. And afterwards he says to her, well, how do you feel now? And he says, how do you feel about chocolate now? And she goes, I don't feel anything about chocolate now. I'm like, I'm not surprised. For me. So he says, okay, so now we're going to do this so he always used somebody as a demo first, and then he got everybody else to do the same thing. I thought, I'm not listening to this one. And I put it on mute and went and got some chocolate. I am having my piece of chocolate. This one was 80% cacao, and I'm like, I'm having this piece of chocolate. I am enjoying it. I kind of have a healthy relation with chocolate. My protein shake is chocolate. My greens are chocolate flavored. My collagen protein's chocolate flavored. I have a smart cocoa thing that I put in there that helps with the brain and all that sort of stuff. And that's, of course, cocoa, so chocolate. Yeah, and I take my bits of chocolate and like the 90% and chop it up and throw it into the blender with all my other pieces, so I get my chocolate that way too. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that to chocolate. I will do that with sugar. I will do that with other foods that I don't want to eat. So that I'm not, there's some foods out there that and he said a very interesting thing. I said, but there's some foods out there that I will not eat. And there's some foods that I don't want to eat, but I get tempted to eat them. So I thought, well, maybe I could use that philosophy that he had on how to remove that from this. Maybe I could do it that way. Yeah, that might work. But so he did this thing on diet and weight loss. He did the segment on that, and then he also did the segment on, which was interesting, on a relationship with money. And he talked about being rich or wealthy. You can, are you rich or are you wealthy? And I'm like, well, aren't they the same? No. Wealthy is the amount of dollars that you have in the bank. Rich is what you currently have in your life, both the the things around you, the relationships that you have. It is not actually to do with the physical money. So rich is, how rich is your life in your relationships, in your self-worth, in your self-care. And I thought, oh, I want to listen more to this. And so I was sitting there just like listening as he's talking about if you're being rich in your family relationships, in your friend relationships, in your business relationships. So being rich in his terminology was all about how rich are you with your relationships with yourself, with family, with friends, with business acquaintances, with clients. What is your relationship like with those? That is where your richness comes from. If you're wealthy, you have a lot of money in the bank, but you may not necessarily be rich. You can be poor, but wealthy. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting thing. And there was one quote that he said, was Bob Marley. Bob Marley once said, some people are so poor, all they have is money. I'm like, ooh, yeah. So he talked about, and so we talked about this relationship with money and the wealthy side and the rich side and the differences between the two. It was just a really, really cool segment that he did. And he, at times he would like do this whole hypnosis thing on everybody and take you into this hypnosis trance and do all the, whatever it is that hypnotists do with putting the suggestions in there to help you release whatever it is that's helping. I have to tell you that whole session that he did, because we did money. Oh yeah, we replaced money with a shovel. So shovels don't grow on trees. Shovels are the root of all evil. Oh, I like that one. The shovels are a tool. So he said, because a lot of people are programmed in their brain from an early age that money is the root of all evil. And he says, that's not actually, and he says, I know it's in the Bible, and people keep saying, oh, but it's in the Bible that money's the root of all evil. He says, it's not actually what it says, which is true. It actually says that the love of money is the root of all evil. I'm like, yes, it's all about perspective and reading things. And so it was interesting. So we did the money thing, we did the health, the weight release. What was the other segment we did? There was one segment I came in at the end of, and just in time, and I was like about 5 minutes of him talking, and then he took us into this trance state, which was really cool because it completely relaxed me. And at the end of it, I thought, that was really cool. And then they go into this whole program about how you can become a hypnotherapist, and he's doing these training classes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. I'm out. But it got me thinking, because a lot of what he was saying, I had actually been listening to in the book that I'm listening to, F the Shoulds and Do What You Want. So it was interesting how that all tied together. And I'm like, well, this is pretty cool. Because the app that I was talking about, the Hay House app, they said, what book do you want to read, listen to, read, or whatever. And they said, would you like the universe to pick it for you? And you just tap the button and it spins away and pops up with this book. And that's the book that popped up for me. And I'm like, okay, I'll listen to it. I'll put the novel audios on hold for right now. But I have to say, this weekend, listening to that book, watching the seminar today, it's been really cool and relaxing. Then after that, I was just like, I want to take a nap. And so I went into the bedroom and laid down on the bed, threw a blanket over me, and laid there and read for a little bit. And then Zeffie comes in and she curls up on right next to my pillow. Doesn't have her head on the pillow, but has it next to the pillow. But she had it in a place where I could just reach up like this and just scratch her. And that's how we fell asleep, with me with my hand on her, just scratching it. And then all of a sudden there was this rumble from somewhere. It sounded like thunder, but there were clear blue skies. And so I was like, oh, that sounds a bit like thunder. And at the moment that rumble happened, she shot up and ran straight down to the front of the RV, jumps up on the dashboard there, and she's looking out the window. Where did it come from? Where is it? But I got up to follow her, and all I could see was blue skies and sunshine and wind, because you could see the trees bending in that we didn't have the awning out today. There's a lot of wind today. And so but it was nice just to lay there with her and to literally fall asleep while scratching her fur. Usually she doesn't let me do that, but today she was very affectionate today, which was kind of cool. We didn't do any playing or training today, not like yesterday when we did the training with her and I told her to sit and she just basically laid down and put a paw over her nose. That was her idea of sit. and we were only 2 minutes into training. And when we do the training things, we only do them for like 10 to 15 minutes. That's it. And then we go into play mode. But yeah, she wasn't interested in any of that today. She just wanted to snuggle today, which was kind of nice. And I got all my laundry sorted. The bags are sitting, they're sitting over there by the door. It's just fun. Hey, they made it to the door, which means sometime in the next 24 hours, they will actually get cleaned. Because they don't sit by the door very long because they take up so much space. And so it's been a very relaxing day. And then I got up, we had lunch, and Zeffie got annoyed because I wouldn't give her any of my food. So I was in the doghouse for that. And then later on I said, like, I just want to go stretch out and read. And so I went and laid on the bed and threw the blanket over me and just laid there and read for a while. And Zeffie came and snuggled up again. And she only snuggles up on my pillow by my head, so I can just reach up and just give her scratches. And so it's just been a kind of a nice day. And I did do some vacuuming today as well. Yeah, I did a little bit of vacuuming. Didn't vacuum the whole RV, just in the bedroom area. And yeah, so it was just it was very much of a self-care day today. It was looking at and I know I have nothing. I don't book anything on Sundays anyway, so I knew I had nothing booked. And I was thinking, do I want to do this? And I was like going through a list of things that I had to do. I'm like, do I want to do it? Nope, I don't want to do that today. Nope, I don't want to do that today. So it's just been a very nice self-care day. And going into this week is going to be a busy week coming up. I've got stuff scheduled on my calendar all this week because I'm trying to get everything ready for when I go into training on November the 1st. Because when I go into training on November the 1st and start I did get my Boston University thing all set up as well. I didn't have to go to Firefox for that. I might have to at some point, but not today. But once I start the course, I've got to do like 10 to 15 hours of study a week. So I've been working on clearing projects that I currently have outstanding right now so that I can free up some time for that, and working on my schedule, looking at it and saying, where can I put my study time in, things like that, and keep my journaling time, keep my regular morning schedule. Where else can I, what pieces of time do I have throughout the day that I could use for study time? And so I'm working on that project right now. And so this week is going to be busy closing off open projects that I have and getting them squared away, or getting to a point where I can leave them for the next 7 weeks before going back to them, because I am ready to rock and roll this class, the 7-week class coming up starting November 1st. And it's all about principles of genealogy. So I am ready to rock and roll. I have the books already because I already had a couple of them I had to go buy, but the other ones I already had. And I'm starting to read through them and take notes in certain places. And I've got my, where are they? I've got my clear. These are actually transparent. These are transparent Post-its. Look, you can see, so when you put them on that was actually 2. So when you put them on the page, you can still read. So you can see that they're transparent, so you can still read what is underneath them. So I'm going through and I'm flagging the chapter where the chapters begin, so I know where the chapters are. And even on the colored ones, you can, they're thin enough that you can see. You can see through them. See, just like that. Hang on, something I could put behind this with words on it. Oh, this might work. So you've got. Oh, no, that doesn't work because the words aren't close enough to the thing. I would get the book, but it's over there. Yellow, see through. This is my card for today. If you follow me on TikTok, I do a card of the day. I also do it on my story. But if you put the thing on top, you can still see. And that's the Post-it. On top, you can still see through. So yes, that's what I like about these ones. So I can go and easily flag the chapters, and if it goes over the type, it doesn't matter because I can still read through it. I can still read it, which makes it nice. That's what I love about these transparent ones. So they can flag where the different chapters are, so it's quick and easy to find them. I can flag areas where I've taken notes on different things. And this little packet here even comes with it's only 3 colors. It's got black, blue, and red. Black, blue, and red on there. It's a tricolored pen. And you can use any pen to write on these things. So works pretty well. But anyway, so you can even use it to like highlight. If you don't want to mark the book up, you can put the Post-it on there and use it to highlight. And they come with the skinny, they got the skinny strips too. So you can actually use, if it's not a big area, you just want to do a phrase or two, they've got these little skinny strips on the side here that you can just highlight that sentence, that word, or whatever it is, without getting out the highlighter. Although I like my highlighters and my pens. So, oh, my color girl. So yeah, so I'm starting to work on reading those books so that I got an idea of what's in the books, because I have a feeling a lot of study time is going to be reading the chapters as well as doing the actual work as well. But some of the study times, so I figured if I get some of it read, if I can get the books read before we start, and I've got them flagged as to what information is where, it's going to make it quick and easy to find when I'm doing the study time, and it may help cut down on the time I have to spend studying and working. So, just little things. It's all the little things. But I am ready to face this week, get these projects done, and it's going to be an awesome, awesome week coming up because I've got, let's see, tomorrow's the 24th. So I have 8 days. 8 days until the class starts. I think it's 8 days. 24. Because tomorrow's the 24th, which means the following Monday will be the 31st, and we start on Tuesday, the 1st of November. Yeah. But I know that next Tuesday, they actually open the orientation class so that you can go in there. And the orientation class is basically about your class, how it's going to work, and how to use the online system to submit your work, to find where your assignments are, and then where to submit your schoolwork, your work, and the dates due and everything like that. So I was in there playing. I'm like, oh, my class. Well, there's my class, but I can't access it yet. It's closed off right now. So it's got a place where you go in. You can do the online stuff like the videos and everything else. And then it's got the assignments in there, when the assignments are due, how to submit the assignments once you've done them, and things like that. So I am super excited about starting that in just over a week. So what did you do today for self-care? Let us know in the comments below what you did today to just relax and recharge and self-care. We're about to head out for a walk. Oh, now we've got her attention. Do you want to bring Mummy her shoes? No, she just ran over to say, Dad's not bringing me my shoes. Dad's just coming to get scratches. Almost 3 years. Multiple times a day for 3 years, and you still can't figure out bring Mummy her shoes. Even when we have trained her on it, she still won't bring me my shoes. I don't think my feet smell that bad, but anyway, I'm out of here. I got to go take a puppy for a walk. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Just go put your feet up, kick back, relax, get ready for the week ahead. If you're like me and use a paper planner, make sure your planner's all ready for the coming week with all the stuff in there that you need to get done this week. And make sure you schedule in, like I have now started actually putting in there, because one of the thingies I was listening to over the past week somewhere suggested that you actually block in your sleep time. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. And they said you block it in, you have the reminder come up, and the reminder's there. And so my reminder comes up, and Alexa goes, it's just telling me to go walk Zephy now. But it comes up with at a certain time, it comes up with a reminder that it's bedtime, time for sleep and rest. So it's time for me to go and do that. So there is a lot of cool stuff coming up this week that I am going to be doing. And remember, it is still Family History Month. So if you have questions on genealogy you would like us to ask, please either put them in the comments below or private message me. And we are going to do an episode probably next weekend. We're going to do an episode on answering those questions that have been asked. So you have until Friday, what's the date on Friday? The 28th, to submit your questions that you have on genealogy so that we can take some time on Saturday to answer them for you. So we're going to be doing a Q&A on Saturday, the 29th of October. So get us your questions before October 28th. And And even if it's after October 28th that you're watching this, you can still submit the questions, because every now and again, once a month, I'm going to do a genealogy Q&A. And I'm also going to start doing one for travel as well, especially on the adventures side of things, because we got some cool stuff coming up on the Before the Dirt Nap adventures. I've been reading up on a lot of different things and working out different itineraries and stuff like that. And once I get some confirmation back from some of the vendors, we're going to start rolling those out. So anyway, that's the cool stuff. So go have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific time. Until then, hei konera.